Michael.
All right,
Have
bye-bye.
a good Sunday.
All right, next we have Alex in Columbia.
Hi, Alex.
Hello.
You
How
think
are
a
you?
rational person can have a belief system that includes a God and a higher power?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I sort of wanted to get you guys' take on that. I've watched a lot of your YouTube videos. I find it absolutely fascinating. The chap with the big beard and the bald head, destroying these people with their dogmatic beliefs. So I thought I'd sort of ring in and see if you guys would destroy me.
I don't like destroying people personally.
Well, our position is the time to believe in something is when there's evidence for it.
Yeah.
So, and we don't know of any evidence, serious evidence for a God. We have a, storybook and these sorts of things.
What do you consider a rational person?
Well, I consider myself to be a fairly rational person. I have a science degree. Generally, I would agree with you guys that I don't believe in things until I can see that there is evidence to support those beliefs in most cases. I'm also not very fond of when you see that people will do very illogical and irrational things in the name of this God that they believe in, because this God was telling them to do these things. And you see people do these, wicked, awful things. And I wouldn't put myself into that category of having sort of a dogmatic.
Right.
So it might be helpful for you to define what sort of God you mean, because there's a lot of different God concepts out there.
Okay. Not the theological God, not the idea of a guy with a big golden staff who's sitting on his golden throne and casting thunder down. I don't subscribe with any of the major religions. My personal belief, and I don't want to offend anyone that believes in those things. My personal belief is that those things are just sort of made up. Where I come in is I think that throughout my life I've had a feeling that there was some force beyond that which we can rationally explain.
Well, there are lots of things that we don't know about.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You consider yourself a rational person, and you're looking out and you're seeing all these people believe all of these different things, and some people are taking it to extreme and being violent, and some people are taking it to extreme and being completely peaceful. And do you see how many different directions you can go with all of this stuff?
Yes, and I think what may be happening there is that all people of faith, all the different religions are perhaps trying to grasp at this same truth.
Well, why? So do you think that a rational person can be wrong?
Yes.
Okay. So keeping that in mind, how would we know that what are you calling this truth that people are trying to find? How do we know? Why do we assume that there is something like that to find?
Good question. I wouldn't expect people to assume that there was such a thing. I think it's just something people feel. And this is coming down to that whole faith thing. And my question, I think, essentially was, is there a space for faith within people who are otherwise rational? I don't know if that makes sense.
Our position is that you can believe anything on faith, and so it's not a reliable way to get a good answer. And in fact, it's because there are many more wrong answers than right answers. It's almost a reliable way to get the wrong answer.
Right.
So right.
And
faith
rational
is kind of
people,
a dirty word to us.
Rational people can do and think irrational things. I mean, nobody's 100% perfect. So it's not like you're an irrational person if you believe this stuff. It's not like everything in your life is completely backwards. It's like, okay, maybe we've been taught some things as we grew up and seen some things that were convincing and felt right, and maybe look into how feelings can lead you the wrong direction. How we can be fooled, how it feels to be wrong. Yeah. How it feels to be wrong feels exactly like being right. And so how do we know? How do you know when something is right or wrong? How do you know?
Well, what do you guys think? just to sort of turn that on its head. As you say, if you've had certain experiences and feelings, and sometimes if you look out upon the world, and so we're taught about evolution and about how things happen by random chance and random genetic mutation. But have you guys ever thought perhaps
I'm cringing, but go ahead.
I know. I believe in evolution, absolutely, by the way. But have you ever thought that there is some intelligent thought going into the process, that perhaps there is...
I have thought that before, and then I thought about why, and I looked for answers of why, and then I found out there is no reason why. And so now I'm asking other people, well, why do you? Because I asked myself and found out I don't have one.
So the primary driver of evolution is death and sex. And so if you think it's coordinated by somebody, then that person is either killing animals or killing humans, or they're playing with their
I mean, it's killing
sex
and
organs.
It's living. It's killing and it's living, and it's killing and it's living. I mean, what else?
Perhaps evolution wasn't the right example, because we have that one, we have that one fairly well explained.
Well, but I really want to know why do you think that there is something? Like, think about it.
Why do I think that there is something?
Often when there's some sort of unknown, we find that sort of a nagging thing, and
it's uncomfortable.
We want to have an explanation for it, and sometimes the most honest thing is, I don't know, or I suspect this, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't. It isn't an acceptable answer.
My answer would be, I don't know, but I feel. I don't know if that's a good answer.
Okay, that's fair. You feel like it's true?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of other people feel the same thing too. I would say the majority. I would say, even most people who say they are atheist, when you really get down into it and you question them about these big
Wait
topics.
a second. Are you saying that really we believe when we say that we don't? Do you think that we're lying?
Latin words.
No, I'm saying the majority of people who self-identify as atheist, very often, if you question them a little more, you might find they're more agnostic than atheist. And
what's the difference between agnostic and atheist?
Well, agnostic is when you're unsure, is it not? Atheist
so do you know the definitions of the words?
Yeah.
Well, my understanding was an atheist is firmly convicted that there is no God, or is
no.
We go by a different definition. We follow the definition that theism is the belief in gods, and atheism is the lack of belief in gods.
Mm-hmm. And agnosticism, agnosticism is the statement that it's a statement of knowledge, saying I don't know. And so if you call yourself an agnostic theist, you're saying I don't know, but I don't think so. If you're calling yourself a Gnostic atheist, you're saying I do know that there's no God. But some people do identify that way still. But with the trends that I've seen, we're trending more towards the whole I don't know, but I don't think so, because we're realizing that it's a more honest position to take.
So, it's nearly impossible to prove a universal negative, right?
Right.
So there could be a God hiding under the rock on the other side of the universe, and I wouldn't know.
You can't prove Mary Poppins isn't real.
So that's the type of atheism that we're sort of advocating for.
So which category would I be in then, based on that?
Well, you sound like a theist of some sort.
Well, do you believe in a supernatural intelligent being?
I believe in, I don't know about a being, a force, an energy.
Okay, an energy or something. So maybe you're a deist?
Yeah. You're pretty close to deism.
Do you feel like you know that there is, or maybe?
I feel like I don't know that there is.
So then you're an agnostic deist, I think.
That's...
An agnostic deist.
Yeah, so I consider myself an agnostic atheist.
Right, okay.
I think that's, to me personally, I think that's the ending point.
Do you have any reason why we should believe in a God?
Right.
Beyond just these nagging hopes?
Or a being. Not a being, a force, an energy.
Right.
Well, I mean, there is energy.
Right.
I don't know what you guys' background is, or if you've ever sort of believed in such a thing, but have you guys ever sort of just felt something, or felt
I have felt something, and then I found out that I can be tricked.
Oh, right, okay.
And also, I found out that prayer does the same kind of things to people that meditation can do to people. So there are things that you can feel because it's a human thing to feel things. But that doesn't mean that there's something supernatural that's causing it just because somebody told you so.
No, I meditate myself, and I was very interested to see how similar it is, and the effect that it has on the body as similar that to prayer, and that there is there is evidence to suggest that in many ways this is something that's quite healthy to you.
Mm-hmm. I meditate all the time, twice a day at work, because I have to do it in order to not smoke.
All right.
Yeah. It's interesting that a lot of the major religions historically, fasting, for instance, have done things which have later been found to have a scientific basis. But then it's very interesting how a lot of the things they do, we are now unlearning, that we're learning things like female genital mutilation.
What's it?
Things that we are now realizing.
Sorry, can I jump in here real quick? Because I'm noticing that you're noticing there's all of these things that humans feel regardless of which God or energy that they believe in. So do you think that there actually is something out there? Sorry.
Yeah, I guess that. I guess that.
There are things that you can feel when you're a human, and I can feel those things too as an atheist. So as an atheist, as Don is an atheist, do you think that we should believe that there is any kind of supernatural anything ever? And what do you have to present to us that should convince us that it's there?
Well, I'm not sort of trying to present anything. I'm if you guys could believe in such a thing.
Okay. You want to know why we don't
whether
believe?
It would invalidate your position as an atheist, perhaps. Would that, if you were to then become convinced of that, would you then have to stop calling yourself an atheist?
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yes.
But there's nothing that's convincing to me so far.
What would I have to do to investigate such a thing?
I don't know. You tell me.
That's what, I don't know either.
That's the point. That's the point. Is that nobody knows where to start. Like when I ask people this question, and it's a personal question, but people don't know.
Right.
It's like, wait a second, why? But then there's something in you that says, no, I have to believe this, and I understand completely what that feeling is. That there's this cognitive dissonance. Like, wait a second, it makes sense, doesn't make sense, but it has to be. But what if you're wrong? Just like you've been wrong about other things before in your life. We've all been wrong. And that's not
I'm wrong on a regular basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, I think we're going to move on. I appreciate your call.
Thank you for calling. Think about it. Find something hard that you can show us that's going to convince us that there's some kind of energy or something.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much, guys.